This is the story of how I ended up bottle feeding 9 baby bunnies. 9 really cute baby bunnies. Meet Granite and Guinevere. It was love at first sight. First, they had to sleep in separate hutches and only had supervised playtime with a fence between them. But eventually, they got their run of the place. And a few months after that, they had babies. The part of this story that I didn't anticipate is that about a month after the baby bunnies were born, Guinevere became unable to nurse them. I don't want to get into all the details of exactly how it happened, but there was an accident and Guinevere was able to access somewhere where she shouldn't have been able to access and ingested something that she shouldn't have been able to ingest. After hours of researching with poison control specialists and veterinarians, it was determined that my rabbit had a subtoxic dose of the chemical, but that the chemical could transfer through her breast milk to the babies. And since the babies are so small, it could potentially hurt them. So we brought all 9 little cuties into the house and kept them in a pack and play for a few days. And each morning I fed them kitten meal replacer. Knowing what I know now, I would have chosen to give them goat milk replacer instead, as both goats and rabbits are herbivores. It broke my heart to keep these sweet little babies away from their mom, but I was worried that if I put them together, they would try to nurse. So I'd hold the little babies and I'd bring them up to Guinevere, let her come up to me and smell them just so she knew that they were okay. I was probably just anthropomorphizing, I guess. But after about 4 days of keeping them separated, I decided to put the baby bunnies into an outdoor run that Guinevere had access to, but the rabbits weren't able to get out. The baby rabbits weren't able to get out of. And I monitored them very closely and stayed in there with them as they were all together. And much to my surprise, even though the babies did try to nurse on their mom, most of them, Guinevere wasn't interested. She just kind of kicked them off and hopped away. So that was that.
Huh, Gwynny? Yeah, and the baby bunnies are having the time of their lives running around. It's adorable. And so Guinevere has access to, she can go right in through there and hop into this enclosure. And she has a few times. She might right now. But yeah, anytime the babies have tried to nurse, she kicks them off. She just kind of runs away and doesn't want them to nurse. So
early in the mornings, I would take them out of their hutch and put them into this little outdoor run so that they could get exercise. And one by one, I'd either bring them all in to the pack and play and feed them one at a time, or I'd walk out to the pen, get one, and feed them. Needless to say, this whole process took a very long time. But I chose to have a male and a female rabbit and to let them breed. And even though I didn't foresee this being a possibility, I chose to have the responsibility. So I just figured it out as I went. Sort of like parenting, I guess. So the big question was, how long do I do this for? And as far as I could tell, the answer wasn't cut and dry. From the research I did, rabbits in the wild baby rabbits will leave their nest around 3 to 4 weeks old, and the mom is kind of done at that point, and the babies sort of go on to live their lives, or maybe possibly not go on to live. And domestic rabbit breeders will keep the doe with the kits for about 8 weeks. So I was left with this big question. Here's like this around 4-week window where should I intervene? I mean, and I chose to, because even though it's possible that the rabbits would have been fine, I'm not sure that all of them really would have been. There was a significant weight difference between the smallest two and the rest of them. Mama rabbits have 8 nipples, and this was a litter of 9, and so it seems as though the 2 smallest kind of interchanged, being the runts that maybe got left out of being fed as often or as much, I'm not sure. But the largest baby was nearly twice as large as the smallest one, so I felt it was necessary for me to bottle feed them, especially the smallest 2. And I did. I bottle fed all of them, and I don't have my records with me, but I believe it was for about 2 weeks. It was a blur. I have a lot of mothering responsibilities, human mothering responsibilities every day as it is, and so this was for sure an added challenge for me and quite the experience, and I should hope that I won't ever have to do something like this again. But it was, like I said, quite the experience and enjoyable in a lot of ways. Okay, thank you for watching, and if you should ever find a nest of rabbits, chances are that it is not an abandoned nest of rabbits, and you do not need to intervene. Rabbits are prey to pretty much every predator, and so the mother does the best she can to hide the nest and the kits, and she only feeds them once or twice a day at dawn and dusk for minutes at a time, so just leave them alone.